sausage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here's a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven? Get a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it. Makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you started to eat 'em. Now, the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now, the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration.
Hello everyone, how we doing tonight? What's new, what's happening? Glad to see a few people popping in here early. Glad to have you. We're going to be doing today's National Spaghetti Day. So we're going to be doing sort of spaghetti. I don't have a proper extrusion since spaghetti are round pasta. I can't really make a round pasta, but we'll get close. So I'm going to be making pasta. I'm going to be making a roasted tomato sauce. We got the bread here from yesterday. It's been proofing here this entire time. That's looking okay. But like I said, I think slightly overproofed since I gave it a full 24 hours. You really only want to do that about 18, and you can get away with like anywhere, I think it's like 8 to 12 hours. But gonna start off here by roasting our tomatoes. And so I'll need a sheet pan, parchment, and I got a bunch of Romas that are sort of ripe. And we're going to quarter these. Got the oven already preheating to 450 degrees. I got that started earlier because, well, I wanted it warm for this, but we also need it for the bread and all that stuff, so these are definitely January tomatoes here. Just about everything about tomatoes thrives in hot peak summer, and so a little rough working with tomatoes this time of year. Which is also why these are not the only tomatoes I am using. I am going to get a can of tomatoes going on the stove as well. This was 10 Romas, I think. Should have been. Definitely not those midsummer, all exactly the same bright, beautiful red color that none of these really quite have anywhere. Healthy amount of salt on these guys. Black pepper on all of them. And a little drizzle of oil. And so these are going in the oven. Not quite at 450 yet. I'm not going to waste the time waiting. And so we'll give those a good 40 minutes here. And take a look back at them then. Next, I'm going to shape the bread. Allow that to do its second proofing here. Start by releasing it from the bowl and folding it over the top. Then we're going to continue folding over the top until we get it into a somewhat nice ball dough, and it's worked its way off of the bottom as well. If you guys weren't here for yesterday's stream, this is bread that's also infused with oil and garlic that was lightly cooked. And now that we got that chilling like that, what am I going to use for the base tonight? I think I'm going to be boring and go back to my typical cornmeal. Let me get this flour off my hand. It's much with the same thing as used for the base of the cornbread. Rather coarse cornmeal. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. Just want a nice even coating on the bottom of our parchment here. Give you an idea of how coarse this is. There we go. And so I'm going to fold this a little bit more since I neglected it, allowed it to rest a little bit, and then we're going to put this open side down, so bottom side up. Once it releases from the bowl, and sadly it's sticking to my hand more than I want it to. Wash my hand real quick again. actually going to roll this a little bit. There we go. There we go with that. Show you guys what that's looking like. A little bit of garlic sticking out on top. That'll be fine. Give a wash up to our bowl here. Banging everything tonight. This guy's been used a bit, so we'll throw him with our dirty hot pot towels, for lack of a better term. Do I want to throw that in there? No, we'll wait on that. Minutes left for a battle here, so I'll finish cleaning this up, get ourselves situated for making our pasta, and then we'll run our battle. Oven's not smoking like mad, that's good. Doing 2 1/4 or so cups of flour for our pasta tonight. And we'll still need that later. "12 units on the field for our battle. See how we do here." See how long my rogue makes it here. Woohoo! Victory. Congrats, guys. Graham, Yum Noodle Lick. Yum Noodle Nick. Congrats on the 50 gold. Yeah, I'll put my Berserker out there this time. Alright, so back to making pasta. And eggs. Nope, no ricotta. How you doing, car guy? Welcome in. Yeah, it's the bot doing that, car guy. Sorry, dirty. Don't know if you noticed, but I'm not exactly pushing a button or something or have it say it. Do scramble, it's just automatically doing it every couple minutes. So we got tomatoes in the oven. We're working on making some pasta dough here. We went over this yesterday, didn't we, car guy? I said I wasn't a big fan of ricotta, but it's okay, I guess. It's a rather bland cheese, to be honest, too. It's simple, it's bland, it's sort of like runny mozzarella of cheeses. It's not even runny, it's like gritty. Like the curds haven't even completely come together. You seem offended by me not liking ricotta. Well, we're doing this spaghetti-like pasta tonight. It's not quite spaghetti. It is National Spaghetti Day today. This is still not quite there, so I'm going to add a little water too. I have no drinking water out yet. Oh, I need more water. The Dutch Miner, I think the best pasta recipes actually use ketchup instead of egg as a binder. And how are you this evening? Welcome in. See where we are here. Yeah, I still think we need some water in there. Running low on eggs here, so we're adding a little water into the mix tonight. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing, what, day 3, day 4? Day 4 of the year here. Doing 8 straight to start the year off. I normally stream 3 nights a week. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And I'll at least continue to honor that, but the plan is to do more this year. Nice, car guy. Went and added the water and might have been a little heavy-handed with that, but we will survive. We've got more flour. You got to work all this in there too. How long we got on our tomatoes? 20 minutes. We're halfway in. And we begin kneading for a while. There's no current ways to do that, car guy. What it's going to be is you're going to be able to use sprinkles to buy a number of different things, but one of the major things is going to be tickets in giveaways in the near future. Starting with when we get 500 followers, I'm going to give away a $25 gift card. But there's going to be other things to redeem and more surprises in the future here. I've been working on it for a while here, and it's taken longer than expected, but yeah, we're going to dust the table here again, or board again. If you're wondering why there's two pieces of dough on this table here, we have garlic bread doing its second proofing over here, waiting to go in the oven. We have tomatoes in the oven right now, and this is going to be our pasta dough once I get this nice and smoothly rolled, kneaded, which is going to take me a couple minutes here. I haven't gotten that impression so far, car guy. Why not? Don't have to go out and buy pasta when you got flour and egg around. Dough is still a little too wet, but oh well. I added too much water. Nice. How'd they turn out? What all did you put in there? Just add a little lemon juice in there. That always works well for helping out color and look. And it's nice and fresh and lightens up a dish with the acidity. Well, that's good. Wondering what that high whine was there. I don't know if that came across on the mic or not. I think it was someone's brakes out on the main road. I don't really get snow here, car guy. We get snow in the mountains up around here. There's 6 mountains in Sonoma County. There's a mountain range essentially dividing Sonoma County and Napa County. Nice. It's a great skill to have. I mean, especially like times like this, and you don't want to have to go out to the store to buy pasta when you got flour and egg around. Yeah, I got extended family all over the place. Well, extended family. Wonder what the heck he's doing here. I mean, I'm not exactly doing restaurant food here. That's sort of half the point. I mean, I'm doing things from scratch, but part of my thing here is I'm not going to pay all that money for that one fancy garnish or that one fancy style to put it in the restaurant category. A little too casual for that here. I've done a lot of it. And I may do it here and there as far as like special dishes or special events. But welcome, guys. How was your day? How was the rest of your Skyline stream there, Metro? How was everyone this evening? Welcome in. Working on kneading a little pasta dough. A little bit wet tonight because I had a little too much moisture to it. We got garlic bread raring to go over here. And I've got tomatoes in the oven. I'm going to be doing a spaghetti-esque dinner tonight. And I do a thinner pasta, much like I sort of did in, forget if it was November or early December. Yeah, I saw that. You were having fun getting annoyed at people can't virtually drive. Well, then again, that whole game is sort of that. It's fun like that. Dictating without a whole lot of consequence. I don't know. Here in California, they like to enter the freeways at 45 miles an hour. At least that's one of the major things that drives me nuts. And after living in the Midwest and New York, the way they drive around here when it rains is worse than the way the people in New York and Midwest drive when it's snowing. No, Swindy. Though they do have these stupid little... They have traffic lights on our on-ramps. that are triggered from traffic. And so a lot of the times you have a stoplight like practically at the bottom of your on-ramp. But around here, those aren't that bad. That's more my experience when I was living in LA. Here we have them, but they're not on a lot. It's just people enter the freeway at like stupid slow speeds for some reason. Have no idea how to merge with traffic. Thank you for that follow, Andy Rabbit. Mostly waiting for this dough to tighten up a little bit. It's already pretty smoothly folding and stretching and pretty malleable. Apache. Yeah, it's sort of, so it's nice and smooth. It's rather silly. Let that guy hang out here for, oh, actually let's first dust that bowl a little bit because it is going to stick. Have a good one, Swindley. Hey, Tahiti lady. Welcome in. Apache, how are you tonight? That's my opinion, Metro, or at least whatever speed traffic is going, but trying to jump into, 65 mile an hour traffic at 45 and then have like 5 people have to brake, which happens a lot. It's just silly. But yeah, it's almost just as bad with them around here driving when it rains. Like it was raining earlier today. I didn't go driving today. I've actually got engine issues right now. I gotta get my truck fixed. Yeah, it's a bit like all those guys in your game there, Metro, where they want to move over a lane and block over traffic until they can go. Let's see here, got another 6.5 minutes until our tomatoes are ready. So I think it's probably clean off the cutting board and then onion and garlic time. Because we need to get our tomatoes going, the canned tomatoes, to go with the roasting tomatoes in the oven. Actually doing a meatless dinner tonight. I don't know if anyone's noticing that. I actually don't even have any good Parmesan right now either. I have the green can, but... Alright, I'm alright with that. That's just flour on the board, basically. Garlic. Nice, Obi. Nah, Hoover, they're definitely started, but we're not halfway done here. Apache. Actually, no, I don't even have any ground beef in the house right now. I am doing meat pies later this week, though. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be starting late, but I'm going to be doing pea soup and sandwich of some sort. Oh, come on. Let's go here, onion. Or garlic. I'm sorry, Metro. Maybe if someone has the channel points, I'll have to break out a brick of bacon out of the freezer. But I don't see that happening. Cottage pie was great. Was great. Not is still great. Gone great. But it's I mean, as I was saying afterward to either Paladins, it's sort of hard to mess up mashing good stew. I tried to. That was looking a little ugly, a little rustic, but it was damn tasty. Sometimes I just don't care. You can never watch the cutting. I like to think I'm pretty safe with it. I mean, my hand is essentially running against the blade there. It's not like it's going to be able to go under it if it's against it. The real problem isn't this, it's when the board slips and your thumb is going like that, or what you're holding goes like that. That's the real issue. No, I don't got any crab here either. Though I am doing lobster thermidor this month, apparently. Let's take a look at our tomatoes here. Those are starting to look nice. We're going to give those another 10 minutes. Starting to get the very tip of them roasty toasty. We want them to go a bit further than that. Favorite kind of cheese? Well, it would definitely depend on what I'm using it for. But in general, probably Gouda. It's Gouda stuff. Battle time. Nice, Metro. Wow, we're gonna get the flank there on our... Oh, they didn't go for the cleric. That's strange. Zane's skins, I thought they were actually enemies. Victory. I got the kills. Obi-Wan, Shinobi. Got the assists. Let's see. Obi-Wan gets the scrolls. I'm gonna try and pronounce that name differently every time I say it here. And boss battle time, and a loyalty chest. You get the power up thing that I think the rogues go for that, and that's a bonus to our team, but it's a bonus to our warriors and tank, and so I'm going to put my tank there. And so maybe a couple rogues here, and everyone else sort of building up as an army. We'll have battle in 30 minutes. Obi? I'm back with the board here. Oh, I wanted to check one thing with Stream Raiders here without you guys looking at my settings. There we go. Nice. It's up. It's there already. You just got to scroll up a little bit, car guy. Or did you lose chat? Forget what the command I have. Is it? No. It is right there, car guy. I'll leave it there on screen for a sec. No, I was figuring I might have put the Stream Raiders link under SR. I don't think I really have a command for it now that I think about it, but cheers, everyone. And because I don't want to use one of my aluminum pans, which might have been a little bit better size-wise, I'm going to pull out a stainless. And because I'm also not using cast iron for that same reason tonight, because we're going to have all these tomatoes in there. I may or may not throw more acid in there. So let's see. But we'll start by heating up our pot here. And we'll add a little oil into the bottom to warm up with that. And we'll wait 2 minutes here while our, oh, let's take a look at those tomatoes. Let's not wait the 2 minutes. That's sort of silly to just wait there because I set the timer. I think those tomatoes will be just dandy. So we'll pull those out and set those over here to cool down a little bit before we can add them into the sauce. Now they're not looking super brown there, but once we start pulling them up, there's some nice searing going on there. And we've reduced them down. They're going to be nice and jammy after they cool down. So those will work nicely. We got this heating up here. Coat the bottom with oil so that, make sure that anything we put in there is going to be touching the oil. And I'm actually going to go with onions first tonight. Nice, Karga. Yeah, I'm not pulling out a bottle tonight either, I don't think. I got a couple of things that can maybe go with this, but it's Monday. And just because I'm streaming 5 days doesn't, or 8 days, doesn't mean I need to be drinking like that. In fact, I really only drink maybe like 2 nights a week here on stream. I'm not a big drinker. Pull out our can of tomatoes. We just got some sauce tomatoes that, puree. I'm not doing the crushed tomatoes or anything. We got the roasted ones to give us that tomato texture if we really want that. Nice, Uber. It's been a while since I had Jim Beam. Quite a while since I had Jim Beam. So, tomato puree, not paste. Have that at the ready here. We'll get rid of this razor edge can top though. Put that in the recycling. Did you not watch the cricket stream after all that, car guy? I made cricket tacos. I'm sure they believe that. I don't necessarily agree. Welcome, Epic Wolfie. Hopefully you're having a fun time here. Glad to have you. I don't know if I don't know if I've done enough bourbon to be like, yeah, that's what I think the best bourbon is, but no, I don't think Jim Beam is the best bourbon. Awesome, welcome in. For anyone new here in chat, I don't normally stream here on Mondays. I'm doing the first 8 days of the year straight. Normally I'm streaming Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday evenings at this time. Starting at 4:30 Pacific, so... actually, it's been an hour. And, so we got... Oh, I gotta get this going with the oven, too. I'm forgetting what I'm doing with my oven. And, so I normally cook dinner 3 nights a week. We have an ingredient challenge going on Wednesdays. This Wednesday is going to be KFC Extra Crispy Chicken, which won the vote in Discord earlier. And on Wednesday, we'll set up the one for next week. Nice, Epic Wolfie. It's National Spaghetti Day. So if it was today, perfect day for her to do it. Okay, now we got a little color going with those. Hit them with a bit of salt. And a bit of garlic. So I now got the pan for the bread in the oven. Warm it up. Oops, I should probably put that so you can see what's going on the stove. You wonderful people, not you guys. So that chat may see what's going on. Nice, Superman. That puts you somewhere in Europe. Maybe UK-ish. Thank you, Wolfie. Yeah, I believe it's 12:30 GMT. I used to have it down, maybe that was on Mixer. I used to have all of them down in my info section. But I think it's 12:30 GMT that I get started. And 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. I think it's like something like 9:30 in the morning in Australia right now, the next day. I might be wrong with that one. Now that these tomatoes have cooled down a little bit, I'm gonna take a... You guys can't really see that very well, can you? Do it up here. On top of all this, I'm going to take them and their caramelized blackened bottoms. All of that just goes in there. Give you guys an idea what the bottoms on these are looking like. Not all of them are blackened, but some of them do have a decent darkening to them. It's all a matter of where they're in the oven and how hot it was in that part of the oven. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I'm going too slow. There we go. If there was any liquid in the pan, toss that in there too, but this is pretty dry. Throw that parchment in the... Check out in chat. Nice, Wolfie. I've done BLTs before. On stream and back before for competitions. Is it Roman that does BLT competitions? I think I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar, which will, once I open it, give us some depth of flavor here. And going to help pull some of that lovely color off of the pan here before we add our tomato paste or tomato puree in there. Okay. Now we'll add tomato puree. Hold 32 ounces here. Or I think it's 32 ounces. 28 ounces. Yeah, 28 ounces. Add a bit of water to the can. Give that a good slosh around. Try and get all that good stuff off the sides of the can as well. We'll bring that all up to a temp. Add a bit more salt, remembering that we have a considerable amount of salt already on those tomatoes when we threw them in the oven. But we don't have any in that puree, and a bit more pepper. And even though the tomatoes probably have enough MSG, let's add a little bit more. And that's meaning our sauce is a bit too thick, so I'm going to add some water here too to thin things out. Nice, Wolfie. Yeah, I've been sort of toying with homemade bread a little bit here. I bought the container that I'm using for this, and I've sort of fallen on a standard recipe at this point that I use, but I've definitely doctored that up for tonight's garlic bread. And now that I got a pizza stone here for the holidays, definitely going to have to do some, like, not only just pizza, but we're going to have to do focaccia and stuff like that too. Oh, darn. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you anymore. That's still a bit too thick here. I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit too. But we want this cooking, but not going too hard. It'd be a good time to add some herbs here too. I've got some thyme to throw in here. And some dried oregano. Oh, welcome in, Tanner and Tamarin. We start with a heavy hand on our dry oregano. I think even a little bit more heavy-handed than that. Yep, that is in the channel rules there. In the chat rules, rather. I'll let it slide this time. Not too worried about the tender parts they're going to break down in the cooking, but don't want the stems in there. I'm going to give this a quick run through with my knife too, I think. I'm a fan of thyme. I probably use it a little bit more heavy-handed than some people would prefer. No roasted pepper. You had roasted tomatoes and tomato puree, caramel or sautéed onions. Those weren't caramelized. Sautéed onions and garlic, oregano. And now we're going to add a bunch of thyme in there. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard several people say that the reason they call it thyme is it makes it seem things like have been cooking for a long time. Which, it does give it a sort of style like that. And some bay leaves, which I just happen to have a bunch of dried bay right here. So I'll grab a good handful of them. Normally I only put like one of them in there. Let's put a couple of them in there. And those will be nice. They have an almost tea or you have almost a little lemony type flavor to them, but they're probably more tea-like in their effect on the sauce itself. How'd they ruin them? Actually, I want to add even more water into this. Yeah, it's been a minute now that since I've done some lamb. I was a little burnt out on lamb when I started last year. And so I didn't do a lot of lamb last year. Stay open. Well, it's going to add a lot of sugar, but also all the other flavors there are going to go fine with it. The cola is going to give you that sort of background depth of flavor. But yeah, it's mostly sugar. There's a number of soda recipes that I've come across over the years. There's a number of people that like doing their ribs with Mountain Dew. Or with root beer. Aw. That's a bummer, Huberman. Okay, that's still popping, and we want this simmering. We don't want it popping and setting stuff all over, so it's going to cook most of this liquid out anyways. I'm actually going to add even more than that. There we go. It's still going to pop, I think. Still not liquidy enough. So let's put our bread in the oven here. Our garlic bread that I started on stream yesterday. Got our pan here preheating at 400 degrees. And our dough that's been sitting here and hanging out. Take that back into the oven. We got the lid in the oven already preheated. We'll put that on top. Minute timer. So they can claim it's theirs, Huberman. Marketing. Well, ours is better because we use this type of meat. Which we're about to see a whole bunch of that here with the imitation meats. Because articles I'm reading now is that now that we've had a couple of these startups, I forget the names of the burger companies, Possible and the other one, that have either gone public or have parent companies that have gone public. Now you got the big boys looking at this and going serious at adding their own imitation meats out there. So Tyson and Cargill and yeah. I'm not quite sure. I'm not hugely familiar with that specific recipe. So we're going to pull out our favorite pasta roller again. Originally purchased at Service Merchandise. Or wasn't Service Merchandise, didn't they have like a whole, weren't they like half pawn shop? Like people could commission stuff there or something along that line too? I don't know, it's been so long since it was a business. I barely remember going through there as a kid. Battle time! See how we do with our boss battle here. wiping them out. Osmith getting all the kills there. And the assists. Victory. Congrats, Osmith. And the Centurion scroll. Boss defeated. And I get a coin. And some gold. Yay, gold. Let's see here. Golden chests or blue? What do you guys think? Loyalty chest or the gold in the chest route? I'm gonna go check out what upgrades I got on my army while I see if someone responds to that. So I'm thinking top route here. I'm gonna start on the side here. Just move that way. Throw a couple rogues up here on the top. Go after those houses. And the rest of us will clean up the rest. And we'll get back to making our pasta again. Which has been hanging out here nice and soft still. Trying to remember to give our pasta sauce an occasional stir. Thank you for the follow, Chili Music. Welcome in. I'm Jason. I normally cook here 3 nights a week, but starting off doing first 8 days straight here. Yeah, this is definitely going to need flour. Might as well grab a bunch of it. So I normally stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. We're doing the first 8 days straight here, like I was saying. Wednesdays I do ingredient challenges. This Wednesday is going to be hold votes in Discord for what they'll be. This week's going to be extra crispy KFC chicken that I have to use for dinner and dessert on Wednesday. Tonight I'm doing National Spaghetti Day. At least here in the States. So, rolling out a little pasta. Got a tomato sauce on the stove, and we got garlic bread in the oven. And I'm sweating because there's tons of steam. Nice chili music. Welcome in. I always like hearing what other people are trying new. And you can feel free to throw photos of any of your adventures in my Discord. I have a food channel there. I'm already going to cut this in two. This is going to be a pretty large batch of pasta tonight. Going to have to boil this at least in 2 batches, probably 3 batches to do all of it. But I am going to fold them at least a couple of times here. Nice. It's been a minute since I've done crepes, and I don't know if I really have a good pan for doing them here at home. Oh, I do have the new flat top. That's not really great for doing them thin. You almost want to be able to turn them. I know that you got the nice flat tops at the creperies. But you're doing it at home, it's a little bit easier to be able to flip it out or flip it in the pan. And turn that down yet again. I think the pan is still coasting now. It's got a pretty thick bottom of that pan. Give this pasta another fold here. Nice. I'm familiar with Dutch babies. I haven't had a ton of them. I don't think I've ever tried to make one. I should, because I have the cast iron pan. But those are nice and impressive and bubble up and create big sides too. They're like sort of like a giant collapsed popover. I'm turning this down a size and running it through. This dough is still feeling a little too elastic for me. I'm probably going to have to give it a couple more folds to make it proper noodle-like for me. We're going thinner first, then we're folding. Nice chili. So am I. Not doing I want a that one though, the Arkansas. I can't pronounce it properly, but it's got a nice open top to it. Slightly more powerful. Certainly more expensive though. So, and it's not necessarily as user friendly as a KitchenAid. good one, Tahiti lady. Thanks for stopping by. Hope your meeting turns out well. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, I think we're now to the point where I'm going to stop folding it and start just thinning it out. Which we're not going super thin tonight, because we're making noodles. Okay, we'll fold it once more then. We're waiting on bread anyways. I do need to get water going for this though. As though I needed something else to make me sweat. Cheers. It's not like a little bit of a workout's going to hurt me. Not that it's a huge workout. Sweating because of all this steam going on here. Hey, Head Mama Bear. Nice chilly music. Yeah, I don't know that I've certainly had tiramisu. And I've made ladyfingers. Have I made tiramisu before? It'd be like a good almost 20 years. But I know I've made ladyfingers at the one college I went to, not the Culinary Institute. And yes, happy birthday ahead of time. I hope you have a lovely day. Making sure our sauce isn't sticking there too much. Add a bit more water in there to that. It's still too thick. Not too thick for a sauce, but too thick for a nice clean boil without it getting all over the place. I mean, you can already see the counter here, and it's already speckled. Now, do you like it because of the whole espresso coffee caffeine jolt, or just like those deep roasted flavors? Back to rolling. Nice. It's our timer for our bread. Gonna take the lid off of that. Ooh, nice smooth top to that bread there. We'll let that continue cooking. Give that another 20 minutes. Continue on with our pasta. Down to size 3. Hey, Suki. Nope, I'm just using AP flour for the pasta tonight. I have used semolina in the past. You don't really need to use semolina for fresh pasta. Semolina is much more of a dried pasta. But it is also traditional. I actually don't have any semolina right now, or I might have, I actually do like using a little bit of semolina. But I'd much more likely use like 25-50% with my fresh pasta. Now if you had like one of those pasta machines or an extruder of some sort, yeah, go ahead and use a whole semolina pasta. I actually want to fold this once more. Still, it's just still too malleable and soft. I want it to be a little bit more tougher and worked. I mean, I kneaded it for a good 10 minutes. Should have a bit more structure to it than it seems to have. It wants to stretch and it wants to come back to. Like, even though I spent so long kneading it, the yeast still hasn't, it still hasn't developed its gluten. Turning that down even more now. Yes, more firm. I used to have that problem a lot when I was in college. My suggestion would probably be ramen, because you want protein and you want good nutrients, but you also want a fair amount of fat. And all that oil in the instant ramens are perfect for that when you've been out and having a good time and want to dial back the amount of alcohol in your system. Absolutely chili. I'll probably make ramen on stream at some point here, but don't have plans for that anytime in the near future. There's actually quite a few streamers here on Twitch that are big into the whole ramen and Asian cuisine, and so oh, come on. Folding it once more. Well, it's good she looked after your health, but people are going to do what they're going to do, whether it's food or other addictions. I think we're going to call it there for the dough. I'm going to start cutting into this. It's still pretty soft, but we'll live with it. I definitely need to clean that guy from the tomatoes earlier. Ouch, Uberman. Yeah, that one's sort of why I started in on cooking at home so much to begin with. It was, I was working out of and finishing up my day, and I'd just be beat, dead tired, don't want to cook, don't want to think about cooking, been cooking all day. Last thing I want to do is go home and make another mess to clean up. And so I would pick food up all the time. And so then I started getting into, okay, well, I'm not going to cook every night, but let's cook a couple of big nights, and then we have food to go the next couple of days. And so I don't have to worry about coming home to a project. I'm already set. Well, on average, any restaurant, any food establishment, and if you're paying for delivery, one of those parasite delivery services, it's going to be even more. But just going into a restaurant, your food is probably costing about 30% of your bill before you add your tip on. And that's if it's a typical restaurant. If they're going cheap, yeah, it could be even less than that. Like if you're going to say a Denny's or a Waffle House. Both great restaurants in what they do, but they're not working with, all organic. Or, So we don't have this as thin as possible, and we're using a smaller cutter here. Though it's soft enough that it caught right away. That's nice. Sorry, the cutting roller isn't nearly as fancy, and I might have to roll this again because it's already sticking, just coming straight out of the cutter. Yeah, this is definitely getting cut. This is going to get rolled again. As you can see, I can't separate that out into decent noodles. It's already back into being dough. Domino's is not exactly expensive here, but it's not the cheapest chains either. I mean, it's not... I'd say Little Caesars is cheaper. At least in their basic pie. Alright, so we need more flour and more folding. Yeah, it's weird how some of the chains are completely different from country to country. You know, and how, say, Pizza Hut's got tons of seafood and stuff like that, and then it's international ones, and you don't find next to any seafood in their stuff here in the U.S. And so I'm not shying away from folding this time. I'm going 4 deep on folding everything. Back to a 1 over here. Let's do our battle. Wow, that blob thing just took those rogues right out. That must have been like a level 10 or something like that. Where'd that guy come from? It's like they killed the building and he's hiding inside. Welcome, I'm a streamer. Nice name. Victory. Suki getting all the kills and assists. Head Mama Bear and Suki with the scrolls there. Congrats, guys. Congrats, chat. There we go. Add your characters to the field. And I'm going to keep rolling pasta. That's sticking to the table. If it gives you any idea of how wet this dough still is. In Formula One, they're talking about delaying the Australian Grand Prix again. They canceled it last year after delaying it. Apparently Australia's got some of the strictest COVID laws and restrictions going on. Making it a bit harder on them to want to bring in who knows how many people, hundreds if not thousands of people for a race, even though they're doing their own bubble system. Now this is feeling more like pasta now. We're getting there. Bread's done. Or it should be done. Way to put water on the stove and not heat it, Jay. Give our sauce a stir here. Ooh, that looks pretty. I was sort of tempted to put that in there longer, but I sort of like that. Nice light golden bread here. Light golden. Put you back here behind everything. Add a bit more water to our tomato sauce again. Thank you, Suki. Nice crusty bottom. And the garlic poking through here and there. That's a piece of garlic there. It's on the warmer end of things that I want to touch right now. I'm going to actually set that back here to cool down. That's going to need some time to cool down. There we go. That'll be good for a minute. Okay. Back to dough rolling. Thank you, Suki. You want to roll? I guess we gotta go back a size. Roll, do. Always noodles. Giving me a hard time. You'd wonder why I keep doing them on stream. Welcome, Raiders. General Lost. Welcome in. Hopefully I pronounced that okay. Not quite sure. What were we streaming earlier tonight? What are we doing tonight? Welcome in. I'm Jason. I'm doing some pasta tonight. Roasted tomato sauce. It's National Spaghetti Day today. We're not doing quite spaghetti pasta, but we're doing fresh pasta. Somewhat in the same size as spaghetti, but it's not going to be a nice round shape like pasta normally is. We got some fresh garlic infused bread that's hanging out over here cooling down. You guys a closer look at that deliciousness. Welcome in, Old Slow. Pinganosaurus Rex. Made some cornmeal crescent rolls in keto chili. Nice. What are you doing in keto? I assume it's not beans. What all you got in your keto chili? We got, so this is infused with both garlic, which that little guy on top there got a little dark, but the rest of this is pretty beautiful. And oil that I slightly infused with the garlic before I mixed it all in there. Otherwise, this is no knead dough bread. And on the stove here, we have a roasted tomato sauce going here, which is a combination of tomato puree, a bunch of Romas that I roasted off first thing in the stream, some onion, garlic, dried oregano, whole bunch of fresh thyme, whole bunch of freshly dried bay leaves. So should have a whole bunch of herby and greenish to our tomato sauce there. Not just it's pretty heavy tomato though, because I mean I roasted those tomatoes pretty good, so they're nice and jammy and reduced in water content. And then I added tomato puree, which was practically like adding tomato paste in there. So this is a pretty thick sauce. I keep adding water to it to keep it from splattering too much. In fact, I'm going to add a bit more. But anyone new into the channel here, I'm streaming the first 8 days straight this year. But I normally stream on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So Monday's an extra day for me tonight. Normally I have a long list in my About section of upcoming dates. Fridays and Sundays, I generally pick, I've been doing a lot of national holidays in the last year here. But whatever's my fancy. I've got cassoulet, I've got a whole bunch of other things coming up down there. And, but on Wednesdays, I also do ingredient challenges. And so I hold weekly votes in the Discord. We'll start a new one on Wednesday. We just wrapped up one today. And so Wednesday, I'm going to have to cook both dinner and dessert dishes using KFC extra crispy chicken as an ingredient. I'm not going to eat fried chicken with some stuff with it. I'm going to have to use that chicken to make the meal and to make dessert. So, it's been a lot of fun. It's going to be my, I think, 13th, 14th week doing this. Last week was crickets. That was interesting. Don't know I'm a giant fan of crickets. They're okay in a pinch, though. Done a whole bunch of other things. Twinkies, Pocky, popcorn. So those are all on the Discord. Give you a quick look at the Discord here. We have our current winning vote here, which the next vote will be here, and you vote for each one by adding a reaction to them. So you can vote for everything if you want, but you only get one vote for each of them. And so these are the suggestions for future possible votes. It's looking like taro's probably going to be in next week's vote. And then maybe canned black garlic? No, cheese balls. Charcoal. Pedialyte. Yeah, it's going to be Pedialyte versus taro root for next week, unless we get more votes in there for something. And we got the rest of our normal stuff here, where our general chat here and the walk-in, food pics from myself and other streamers in food pics areas, and all your other lovely community things here. So feel free to join in. Anyone new in here, I will give permissions to after the stream. I don't have a bot working on that successfully right now. But let's finish up on working on our pasta dough here, which I added too much water to my pasta dough tonight. This is primarily an egg dough, but I added some moisture because it was too dry, and then I ended up going way too moist, way too wet. And so I've had to work this dough quite a bit tonight. We're going to give it another shot at cutting again. I tried cutting it earlier and it just sort of gummed up a bit too much. Meant to do that. Water's got to be getting close there for boiling. Let's just go straight into cutting. With the smooth side. Easier to get started. It's still on the edge of being too soft here, but let's see how we do. I'm just going to dust them with more flour as they come out. And coat myself in flour here tonight. Don't have a pretty pasta hanger here, so I'm gonna have to deal with just trying to keep them nicely thoroughly coated in flour here. Please catch dough. Go! Catch! Cut! There we go. Suspect I'm doing this slightly thicker than this roller wants me to. But it's still close enough that it doesn't matter too much. Excessively flouring tonight. there's our pasta for tonight. As usual for my stream, a little bit more work and effort than intended was needed, but still turning out all right. It's all staying nice and separate too, with all the extra flour in there. Let's do a little cleanup here and get rid of all this flour on the counter and stuff like that, and put the pasta roller away after a good dusting. Cutesy little brush in this thing. Probably intended for the pasta, but I use it for cleaning the rollers and everything off on the machine. Oh hey, it still has the 1-year warranty paperwork in there. Bottle time. Finish wiping the counter here real quick and we'll run our battle. See how we do. Now it looks like we only got rogues on the right side. Nice. Victory. Entropy with the kills and the assists. OB and Osmith with the rewards. And let's do one more battle tonight. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I'm going to put Rogue out here. There we go. So we got our pasta ready to go. I'm going to have to do this in 2 to 3 batches. I'm going to do it in 2 batches. We got the 1 and 2. We got our pasta almost ready to go here. Our sauce is ready. The water isn't quite boiling yet. Add a little bit of salt to the party there for the water. Should help it speed up getting to a boil, but shouldn't really raise the temperature that much. Let's see what I'm missing here. Looking at who's on right now. I was thinking someone was going to be on. I don't see them. Okay. So we'll go with this. I'm going to start removing these bay leaves as I see them here now, because I don't really want them in the final sauce, but I did want their flavor. There's another one right there. Maybe that's a piece of tomato. I think that's a bay leaf. Maybe not. Hopefully, since they're still rather fresh, they didn't dissolve on me or something. Seems like they're holding together pretty well here. I can't remember if I put 5 or 6 of them in there too. So that should be fun to figure out. But we do have the tomatoes in there still, and there's some other things giving us some texture in the pan. Yeah, I thought I saw one there. So that's 4 I've taken out. There's at least 1, if not 2, in there still. Oh, that's tomato skin. We'll leave that in there. Another tomato skin, we'll leave that in there too. Oh well, it'll be fun when we find them. Let's see how our bread is looking. Don't want to add flour to our recently cleaned counter here. I still am, I think. See how our bread is. That's still a little warm. I'm going to give that another couple minutes to cool down. Set that back over here. And then put it over here so you guys can still see it here. So that everyone can see it there still. Man, I use the word guys way too much. There's one of them. You do want to take bay leaves out. They give you nice flavor and they infuse things. You don't want to chomp down. You don't want to try and swallow a bay leaf. It's not a fun experience. Okay, we're now getting up to a boil here. Boiling decently with the lid on there. Gonna give that another minute or two until it's making noise, bubbling, before we remove the lid. See, it's starting to make some noise now. And clean up the bowl from making the dough earlier so that we have something to toss our pasta with. Or in. Since I'm not cooking in a saute or a saucepan here for our sauce. Don't really have a good mixing container. Okay, now we're good to pull the lid off. Don't want lots of dishes for tomorrow because I'm thinking I'm probably going to be starting the stream late tomorrow, although I will be back tomorrow. Let's do our first batch of noodles. Turn the heat off on the sauce entirely. We lost our boil here with our water, unfortunately, but it's still decently hot. It's already cooking that pasta even still. Thank you for that follow, Chera. Awesome. So that's looking good there. Add that to our bowl here. Bit warm over there. Bring this guy over here. I don't normally do this, but since we're doing 2 batches, we're going to do a little oil and a little toss, especially since we're dealing with the dough that was a little bit sticky. Make sure we're back up to a full boil before we do our next batch, which is probably going to work much the same. Going to use this pan here to keep the steam in on that. So we wait for our bread to, or our water to come back up to a full boil here. We are getting there quickly. You notice, or actually almost all the starch from the first batch of pasta there made it so that I wanted to overboil this time. So we'll go in with our second batch. Done with our wooden spoon here. I have to switch to a service spoon now. That pasta is done. It's now likely overcooking, but I'm taking my time apparently. Don't want plastic in there. Don't know how that got there. Turn the heat off the water there. Now we get to add sauce. How are we doing on our game here? Can we pause this properly? Got 15 minutes. Ugh. Okay, I think we might be finishing this one off a stream tonight, guys. Apologize for that. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer for us to finish up our pasta. Why don't we, well, let's see how we are once we break into the bread and all that. Let's cut some bread. Ideally, you probably want to give this even still more time. but I'm ready to eat. And I want some sandwich pieces out of this, so we're going to turn this and cut this the long way. Nice looking loaf there. I'm happy with that. Especially for just being no knead bread. And actually that's a pretty even, little dents here at the bottom. But pretty even spread on our bubbling too. And since this isn't completely warm, do my home hack here and put that open side down. So any heat and steam remaining in there is still going to have to try and work its way through the crust. You may steam the bottom of it a little bit, but otherwise your overall piece of bread, because it's still cooling down, it's going to be better sitting that way. I'm going to cut this in half into 2 thick slices here. Do some Texas toast style garlic bread here. And for those that weren't here yesterday, I started this on stream yesterday. And you do have pieces of garlic in there. And you have garlic infused oil throughout. And so this got some nice garlic flavor all over it. Don't have to add that in. Don't have to re-toast it with anything. It's already garlic bread. So let's make our pasta. We're going to call it a night here. And give a raid off to someone nice. Let's add our sauce. Noodles turned out pretty decent. Nice and individual in there, and they're not all stuck together. Do another scoop or two of sauce here, and then we'll plate up. We'll steal the same cheat as last time did pasta. Use the cook's knife or cook's fork. Get a nice twirl of pasta on there. And there you go. That is dinner tonight. Give you guys a main view of this deliciousness up and close and with the good color. Actually, it looks a little bit better right there. Awesome. And so let's give a rate off to someone here tonight. Double check we're going to the same place I was thinking we were. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So we were talking about crepes earlier tonight. We're going to go watch some crepes being made. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I will be back here tomorrow doing soup and sandwich. Gonna do some lentil soup with I think I got some green beans. And yeah, another night in a row. Gonna do 8 in a row here. And so Wednesday will be KFC extra crispy chicken for dinner and dessert. And lots of other stuff coming up here. So I hope you join me for that. And I also hope you all have a great night. Thank you. Goodbye.